Okay. So yeah, we'll start with the routing today. Basically, single page applications are like designed only for the single pages, right? I mean, let's say your Gmail or this site called freelancer.in, right? So these are like single page applications, right? So basically everything happens in the single page. So whenever you click something, uh, that will happen in the single page. It will not load the page, but here it is loading. In general scenario, if you go to your Gmail, right, so it will not load the page. Only whatever you do, it will happen in the same page. Only dynamically the content will get updated, right? Basically, it will not load the page. So in even YouTube also a single page application, right? So these kind of applications, there is a way they should be organized like for every component. So whenever you're doing some action here and some different page or different component is coming in the page here, right? So it's not the same page. The page is changing, but the UI is changing, but the page is same, right? So yeah, this example, if I click on get verified, only the content changed here, but the page is not refreshed. So these kind of dynamic changes happens in single page applications. So how Angular or any other framework will handle that, right? So it will change the URL here, but it will not load the page. It will change the URL and it will update the content. So these two things will happen. So why it will change the URL? What is the need of changing URL? It can update the content here itself, right? What is the changing need of changing the URL here? So if you go to the history, okay, let me go to the history. Here it will record everything you do in a web browser. So we clicked on this link, right? Let me go back and let me click on, okay, this page is loading. Okay, yeah. So let me click on this and the URL will change here, but page will not reload. Okay, so this one will be recorded in the history. So every time you click on a link or something happens, it will basically record. So this is the verified link. Okay, you can see here also in the bottom when I hover on this link, it is showing the freelancer.in/verified. The browser will record this history so that what is the need of recording, so that when you click on this back button, it will go exactly to the previous page. Okay, it will record the history for that purpose. Now, how Angular will do, right? So basically, it is capable of changing the content here without changing the root here. But the advantage is even in Angular application also, I can click on this and I can go back to the previous page. Okay, so here it is on training. So whenever it is on this path, the landing page of Angular course is displayed. But whenever I click on, let's say, introduction to routing, and the page changed here, now the URL also changed. So if you go back to the history and see, these are recorded. Okay, first it was Angular training. You can see the link displayed here when I hover on it. All right. So and after that I click on introduction to routing. So here I whenever I hover it, it is showing the topic equals to introduction to routing. The URL change, right? So now if I go back here and click on back button, then it will go back to my landing page. So this is the advantage you get. And also, if you share this link with someone across the internet, with some friend or somewhere in the social media, then if they click on that link, exactly it will load this part of the application. Okay, so that is another advantage. So if you share this link, okay, let me copy it and go to some different tab and just paste it, enter, and it will go to exactly that portion of your application. So it will not go back to the home, or it will not go back to the landing page. So it will go back to wherever, whatever page you want to share with the person. So all this management will be done in the routing module. Okay. So let's say there is another example here, right? So this is your application, entire application, and you organize application this way. Okay, when user goes to the website, so first it will show the home component. Okay, the home means home component or like home page, and when they click on the about link, then it will render the about component. Okay, so the also it will support the child routes also, right? So now here we have landing page of about component, right? About page. So this is the root is slash about. Okay, when you say slash, home component will come. When you say slash about in the browser, the about home component will come. And if let's say this page displays multiple products. Okay, so when you click on the that item, let's say you click on some item 1 or item 2, then it will go to this path. When you click on the item 1, it will go to the slash about item slash 1. When you click on item 2, it will go to this path. Okay, so the skeleton for the template for these two URLs is this one, because the pattern is same. The about slash item colon id. Id means this parameter. Okay, so this parameter can be dynamic in Angular. Let's say if you have 100 products or 100 student details, then when you click on student one, only the student one details must be loaded. Okay, assume that student one is the ID, and one is that person ID. When you click on the student one, it will load the student details and display in the browser. In the same way, if you click on second student, it will show second student details. But here is the products. Item one is one product and item two is a different product. But the pattern or the common path is this one. Okay, you define this way, and you will be able to access this ID parameter inside your component class. Okay. So did you understood what is the routing? Okay, routing is to basically navigate across your Angular application. Okay, because any application or if you take any application, it will have many things, many pages, many services, many products. Okay, so all those you can, if you want to put in a single page, because Angular is a single page application framework. If you want to put all those things, all those features in a single page, then you have to organize them properly. Okay, so how can you organize? The only way you can organize them by assigning routes. Okay, so for products you can have a separate route or page. For about us, you can have a different page, or component, or contact us, you can have a different page. Let's say if you are providing services, then you can have a different page, and for each service you can have different pages, right? So this way you can organize your entire application like this tree structure, and then you can write your application. Okay, so when user does some action in the application, then that specific route will be loaded, and that specific component will be loaded, and that specific API calls will be made to the backend service, and fetch data to render it in the browser. Okay, this is the flow. So now how to configure routing in Angular, right? So when you are creating an application, basically it will ask whether you want to add the routing module or not, right? So if you say yes, then it will create this file, app routing module.ts. If you say no, it will not create this file. Okay. So later, if you want to create the routing file, this one, then you have to execute this command. Okay. So ng generate module app routing hyphen flat and module equal to app. Okay, so the meaning of this command is when you say this one, right, basically it will create a module. Okay, so um, routing will be configured in separate module. That is the best practice, but we can do other way also, but this is the best practice. Okay, so ng generate module, so it will generate just like component, it will generate a module, and that module name is this one, app routing. The meaning of this is when you create a module or when you create a component or anything, right, so basically it will create a separate folder for that. Okay, but when you put the hyphen flat, it will not create that folder. Okay, so that is the only meaning of hyphen flat. And for which module you want to have this routing module? For the app module. Okay, so that's the reason module equals to app. Now it will create this file app routing.module.ts. Okay, this command is used for uh, creating a routing configuration file for existing projects. But if you are creating a fresh project, in the project creation, it will ask you that whether should it create a routing file or not. Okay. Um, so let's go and see whether we have this routing file in uh, our project here. Okay. Yes. So you can find it just above your app module, right? Just above your app module, you'll have your app component and app component specific files. This is app component test file. This is app component HTML file. This is app component CSS file. And just above that, you'll have your routing file. Okay. Now, let me comment all this. Let me save it. Just for now, let me remove all this and put this somewhere in order to avoid confusions, right? So this is how your routing module will look like. I commented this. So this is the bare minimum routing file you'll have. Okay. So now let me explain what this file is. Let me remove this also. Okay. So this is how your routing file will look like. So what we are doing here is, this is the roots array. This is just an empty array, and just like any array, right? So this is just an array of type roots. This roots is from Angular router. Okay, this is just a class. Okay, this routes is a class. Okay, so this is just an interface. Okay, what it will have? It will have these fields: title, path, path match, matcher, component, load component, redirect to outlet, can activate, can deactivate. So all these things will be there in this interface. Okay, now we are creating an array of those values, array of those interfaces. Okay, just like a student interface, routes is an interface which will hold a routing configuration or a route information. And after that, we have this is module, right? So we created the module. Even if you see the command also, basically we were creating the module. We're creating a module. So that's the reason a module is getting created. So this is app routing module. And module will have this annotation, right? This decorator at the ng module. And inside that, as usual, we have imports, exports, and we have the declarations, right? If you go to app module, we have declarations, we have imports, and here we don't have exports. Providers Bootstrap, right? So Bootstrap will be added to only app module. We will not add this to other modules. And providers we can add, but in the routing module we don't need that. That's the reason we removed it from here. So declarations also we don't need it here. So we have only the imports and exports. What we are doing here, we're taking a router module which is imported in the app module. If you go little up somewhere, Okay, this is separate module, right? This is not part of app module. Okay, so here what we are doing, we are importing the module, router module here from the Angular router, and then we are saying for root, and we are passing the roots array. Okay, so we define roots first, and then we are sending all the roots to the router module so that it will configure in the application, in the framework. And then once that is done, we are exporting that module. Okay, we are exporting that module so that it will be available across the application. Okay, this is this line is as good as this one. Okay, so what will happen if you put export here? This class will be available across your application. So any TS file can import this module, this class. Okay, if you don't put this one, then it will not be available across your application or across multiple TypeScript files. So the same way, in order to import a module, we are using this one, and we are configuring our custom routes, and then we are exporting same module. Okay, whatever configure module, right? This is a configure module, and we are exporting same router module here, so that this will be available across our application. So where we are going to use that one. So in app module, we have to use here. Okay, so if you go here, so we are importing router module and then configuring it. And once configuring our routes, we are exporting it. And after that, we have this app routing module. So now this will have all the information about our routes and our Angular router module framework related stuff. Now we go to the app module, and here we have to import just like any other module, like common module, forms module, and reactive forms, just like HTTP client module. So just like any of these modules, we have to import the app routing module. Okay, this is one way. Okay, this is one way, and I feel this is easy because it will be easy for you to organize your routes here. Okay, so this is easy. Now there is other way also. I'll tell after one example. I'll show you first example, and then we can go to the second way how we can define routes without the routing file. Okay, so now we have an empty array. That means we don't have any routes now. We have empty rule set, empty root set. So let me click enter here and then just put an object, because roots is an interface, right? So it will have many fields. So to hold that fields, we have to create a JSON object. Okay, now let me start typing path. Okay, it is showing two fields, path and path match. Okay, let me select path. Okay, which path I want to have? I want to have home. Okay, home path. When home path is entered, I want to show a different component. So how can I show component? We have to configure component root also, component property also. So if I start typing C, it is showing all this: can activate, can deactivate child, can load children, right? So let me go to component and select. Okay, this is where we are telling Angular, okay, when user entered /home, then show this component. Okay, so let's see which component we want to show. Okay, so we have a home component and a contact us component, but let's add something in the home component. This is empty, right? Let me add some component page, control S. Okay, I want to show home component when user entered /home. Home component. Save. Now we configured one route. Okay, our application will now have one route. Let me go here. Localhost 4200. Not this one. I think 5001. Yes. So this is running on 5001. Now, so what we have to do to render that home component? We have to put slash and then home. something wrong. Okay, got it. So in app component, we have to have something in order to render all the routes. So that is router outlet. Okay. If you don't have router outlet, it will not know where to render that component. Okay. We are going to render that component in app component.html because app component.html is the starting point of Angular, right? So starting component of the Angular. The starting component of the Angular, we should have this router outlet so that exactly in the place of this router outlet, it will render our home component. Okay. Now if you go and see, the home component is coming. If I remove this path here and click enter, then it will not show anything because we did not configure any default component for empty path. Okay. So if you want to show empty path, if you want to show home page in case user entered empty path, so what you can do is you can copy paste this thing, and instead of home, you can see empty. Okay. Basically, what you're doing is, in case of empty, go to home component, or in case of slash home also, go to home component. So now if I go there, even with the empty path also, I'm getting home component, and even if with the home root also, I'm getting same component rendered. Okay. So now if you want to add another component, okay, another root, so what you can do? Let's say I want to show contact us. Okay, contact us component. So what I can do is contact hyphen us. Okay, and which component we want to show? Contact us component. Now we have three routes. Okay, these two belongs to basically the home path, and this is our contact us path. Now let's go there. Let me save it and let's go there. And when I entered home, it is coming here. When I remove home also, it will show the default component, home component. But if I put contact hyphen us, see here, I just entered some random, the contact as spelling was wrong. Contact hyphen is right, but it is saying cannot match any roots. URL segment contact hyphen yes. The meaning of this error is you don't have the contact hyphen yes root defined in a roots array. That is the reason it is throwing this error. Okay, let me correct that. Contact hyphen us. Okay, now it is showing contact us box. But where was our home component? It went away. Okay, if you go to the element section and expand this app root, and if you see in the app component, app root is app component, right? In the app root component, it is showing the router outlets. Okay, just below the router outlet, now it is showing contact as component. Okay, contact as component and the component HTML inside the contact as component. But let's change it to home now. Now let's see what happens. Okay, I just changed to home, and let me see here, just below the router outlet, it is showing home instead of contact us because the root here, the root path here is tightly coupled with the component we are showing in this page. Okay, so that binding is here. If it is home, it is tightly bound with this component, it will show this component. If it is contact us, it will show this component. That is as easy as that. Now let's make this application little dynamic. Instead of we going and entering this path there, let's put some links in the app module. Okay, app component, and just remember you can have any lines of or any HTML here, just above router outlet, or you can have any HTML here. Okay, that basically doesn't change. Only the router outlet part. Okay, this line will be replaced with your component configured in the routing file. Okay, to show that, let me put some h1 hello in app component. hello end in app component. Hello start, hello end. Okay, let's go and see. This one and this one is coming from the app component, and this section is coming from the home component. Okay, let's go and change to contact us. Okay, so this one will not change. Only between these two we have this router outlet, right? So only that place will change with whatever component we configured in routing file. Okay, so now as we are discussing, let's add some links here dynamically. Let me add a hyperlink, a router link equals to home. Okay, click here for home and contact us. Click here for contact us. Okay, so now we have two links. Okay, both are coming back to back. Let's add some space there. Let me add a style margin right. Let me add some 10 pixel gap. Okay, now these two are 10 pixel apart. So now we have two links. Okay, when I hover on this, you can see what link it holds under, right? So when I hover it, it's saying localhost 5001 home. When I hover on this one, localhost 5001 contact us. If I click on this, contact us works. It will come. If I click on this, the home component will come. Okay, and if you see, it's not changing or loading the page. It's not refreshing the page. Only content inside this page is getting refreshed. Okay, and also in app root, we have these two links, and just below that we have router outlet, and below that we have whatever component it is going to render dynamically. So just observe this one when I click on something here. Okay, it changed to app home. It changed to contact us, right? So it is changing dynamically based on whatever route coming in the browser. Okay, so now what is this router link? The router link is basically nothing but Angular directive. Okay, so it will take root name as a parameter here, and then when user does some action here, it will go to that link. Okay, if we go to the browser and we expand this, not this one, yeah, here. So here if you see this anchor tags, right, we did not add href here. We added only router link home. This one, router link home here, but it added href equals to /home. So this one is added by the Angular framework, and below that we have another anchor tag, right? So it has href equals to /contact. So this part is added by the Angular framework. Okay, but above what this part is added by us in the code. So an application is running, the Angular will basically take this routing configuration, and then it will just add href. So what will happen if I give some route which is not available, okay, which we not defined it? Okay, in that case, let me give just contact instead of contact us. Let me save. Okay, so now it is showing contact and this one is showing home. So home is correct one, but contact is wrong one. So what will happen if I click on contact? Okay, there are no errors in the console also. Okay, I just cleared. Now click on here. So nothing is happening. Okay, currently we are on the home page, but when I click on this one, it should change to contact, right? So it is not changing. Why it is not changing? The contact route is not it defined in the routing file or not found in the root definition file. But if you go to console and see, there are many errors. I clicked around 19 times. So 19 times it throws some error. So what is the error? Cannot match any routes. Okay, URL segment is contact. So it is saying there is no contact route defined inside the routing file. So for that, what we have to do? We have to correct this one or go to the routing module and correct this one. Okay, let me remove the contactors and let me save it. Now if I click on this, it will work without any errors. Okay. So now the advantage of these routes, right? So if you are on this page, let's say, and if I refresh the page, whole page, it will exactly go to the same one I clicked. If I click on contact us and let me reload it, and it will only render only the contact component. It will not go default to, excuse me, the home component. Okay. So yeah, any questions so far? I can't hear you, Sana.
No doubts, sir. Understood.
Okay, cool. So the same example I tried explaining here, right? So I defined the routes, and then the path is heroes and component is heroes component, and the same thing importing the router module and configuring our custom defined routes here, right? So if you say for route, it will basically configure all the routes given here. And then we have to export whatever configured routes. Okay, router module is empty module at first, but after this line, what will happen? Router module is initialized with this routes. So the initialized router module, we are exporting it, and then this module we are exporting the entire module. Right? This is module, and this module we are exporting. Now this module we have to import in app component, app module. And just go through this. It will basically have the meaning of each thing, right? So if path, if we said path here, right? So path is nothing but a string that matches the URL in the browser address bar. And component, the component that the router should create when navigating to this route. So when you are navigating to this route, this component will be rendered. That means when you are navigating to heroes route, heroes component will be rendered. And so we have to export the router module so that this app routing module will be available across the application. And then the router outlet is for basically telling a placeholder. It's a placeholder for Angular so that it will know where it want to render your components for each route. Okay. So that is the introduction to the router module. Any questions so far here before moving to next topic?
So if you consider that person also, if you just maybe take that.
Okay. So now there are a couple of other properties here, right? Like the uh, path match, and there are other properties. So going forward, we'll see one by one, like this wildcard string. What is the use of this, right? So all these things we will go one by one. Now, let's say in some cases, what will happen if application getting bigger and bigger, and some places you might have some links which are expired already or like which are not active in your application. So what you can do is you can put star and you can put some component name, or let me put same contract as component, or let me Should I use different component? Okay, let me use the student list component. I already have that student list component. Save it. Let me go back to the application, and still this is working. Now let's say I entered some random root which is not existed and enter. Okay. Now it is going to the student list component. This is student list, okay, which I think I written for the other class. So this component is coming dynamically. I can enter any, not only this one, I can enter anything, any value. Okay, it will go to the student list always, because we are saying first match this one with this path. If it doesn't find any entry, then go here. If it doesn't find any entry, then go here. If it doesn't match anything, come here. So if it doesn't match any of these routes, then finally match anything, right? So anything that doesn't match here will be matched here. So that's the reason whenever you enter some junk data, it is by default matching to this wildcard or double stars, and then it is rendering this component by default. Okay. So this is basically having a default page. So what is the use of this feature, right? Sometimes whenever user enters some wrong path or wrong thing, or when you navigate to an expired page, in that case we can show some 404 component. Okay, we can create a custom component show 404 error message, and that 404 error message component we can put here, so that instead of showing like this, it will be a nice component which will say you entered wrong URL, can you go back to the home? Okay, such kind of cases we can use this wildcard character. Okay, and also let's say you want to redirect all the paths to home, all the unknown paths to home. So in that case, what we can do is we can use the redirect to property. Okay. So how can we use that here? We can say redirect to where? Redirect to home. Okay, comma. And when it is redirecting, we don't need component, right? So let's remove this, and we have to use, it will throw some error, but let's see what is there. Okay, so it is going to home now. So let me enter some random data and enter. Okay, by default it is going to the home. Okay, because we're telling whenever any unmatched path entered, then by default go to home. Okay. So, but there is another property also for along with this redirect to. We should use path match. Okay. So path match will have two values, either uh, full or prefix. Okay. But path match property will be used only in case of some path you want to match and redirect to some known path. Let's say user entered home page. Instead of home, user entered home page, right? In that case, I want to redirect to home. So the path match strategy is either full or prefix. Okay. If you enter full, then you have to enter exact path so that it will redirect to home. Okay, let's try that. By default, it is home. Let me enter something here, the home hyphen page, and enter. See here, it immediately changed to home. Okay, so it immediately changed to home. Let me try again. Let me change home hyphen page, hit enter. So see, it is immediately changed to home. That means whenever it matches the home hyphen page, it just redirected to the home path, because we are telling it to redirect to home. So the path match is full here. So it means it will match the entire thing. Now, if we say prefix, okay, in that cases, yeah. So if we say prefix, home hyphen page, and the path match is prefix. Let me save it. Now, not only home hyphen page, right? Not only home hyphen page. So you can basically put home hyphen page slash anything. So it will redirect to the home. Okay. The earlier case, it has to match home hyphen page. But now what will happen? So it can have anything after this. Okay. So the entire paths after home page will be redirected to home. Okay. So this is the prefix here now. And this is your random path. So unmatched path. Then it will go to home. So that is the meaning between prefix and full. Now let's go back to full again and save it. Okay, let's do that prefix thing. So I entered here and some random value entered and I hit enter. Okay, so it redirected to empty. So it doesn't, that is the default behavior. It did not go to the home because it doesn't know to consider the partial match. So it is considering full match. So full match means exact path should match to this string. Then only it will redirect to home. Okay, so that is a difference between full and prefix. Okay, but if you want to redirect all the paths which are which are not matched in the above list, then you can put star here, and then you don't have to put this path match. You can just say any unmatched path should go to home by default, or you can put contact also. Okay, let me save it and go and enter some gibberish, and it will be going to the contact. Okay, so any doubts here? Did you get how to configure routes?
Yes, sir. So it's case sensitive, right?
Case sensitive.
So
Yeah, let's try that. Okay, so let me say home here, but here let me say home. Okay, it is not matching. Okay, basically the case sensitivity is there in the URLs. Okay, it's not the Angular feature, but in the browser itself, case sensitive is a thing, right? So if you enter, let's say index.html is your web page, and if you type capital I, then your file name is small I, then it will not work, right? The same way, if you enter different name, even if it is a case also, it will not match. Okay, by default, it is going to
but we can
contact.
configure to be
I can't hear you. Your voice is very low.
hello. So if I want to like overwrite that and say it's okay to accept the case sensitivity, we can do that, right?
1 second. Yeah, can you repeat that? I couldn't hear.
Yeah, since the I mean the URL is case sensitive by default, right? So is there a way that we can change that? Like it can also take the capitals and smalls the same
No, I don't think so, because that's the browser thing, right? It's not framework thing.
framework thing. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, yeah, it's a browser thing. So not only this application, this is just a
Every
simple
entire
application.
application.
Any
Yeah,
application, you can
everything.
open any website and just change the
Because
single character to capital, and it will go to the 404 page found, not found. Okay, so yeah, this is introduction to routes, and there are many other topics also. Like from here, you can pass arguments, right? Some paths will have arguments, path parameters, query parameters, and how to read those parameters in this component, because in the home component, if you are passing some path parameters, you'll be able to read in the component or this component. So depending on where you want to have the parameters, just like student details slash student ID, right? So those cases we are taking the student ID as the parameter for that student, and then we fetch the student specifically and we'll render it. So in those kind of scenarios, we need to take parameters. Or e-commerce application. Those sites, e-commerce application will have hundreds of products. Whenever user clicks on some product, that time we fetch only that product details in the details page, and then we'll display it. So that cases we use path parameters or query parameters. So all these things. So we'll cover tomorrow about the router outlet little deeper, and then we'll go to the next topics, like how to use router link. Like there are a couple of ways we can use router link and how to use them, and how to pass parameters using the router, and how to navigate using the TypeScript code instead of using the router link. So we'll check those things from tomorrow.